Medallion Metals is an advanced gold and copper explorer with a portfolio of high quality assets in the southwest of WA. The company's aim is to build a critical mass of metal at the project to support the development of a long life, low cost gold and copper project in Ravensthorpe. And this presentation is an overview of what Medallion team's doing to make that aim a reality. The presentation is lodged with ASX, it's on the platform, it's a general update, it's not an offer, it's not advice. So Medallion's competing with a host of other gold and copper explorers for capital, for attention, and how do you stand out from the crowd in what is a crowded space at the moment, a difficult market for gold explorers. We think these points, when taken together, are what set Medallion apart from much of its competition. First and foremost is that Medallion controls the majority of a greenstone belt in Western Australia that's known to host and known to be fertile for gold and copper. These assets are increasingly rare and at some point in time will be extremely valuable. The assets are located 500 kilometres from Perth. The access, the infrastructure is outstanding. The community is supportive. It's had a long association with resources that stretches back for over a century. We've got scale, importantly, we've got grade. There's a 1.4 million ounce gold equivalent resource at 2.6 grams already established. It's shallowly drilled, it's open along strike. It's open at depth. It is being grown rapidly as the drilling program unfolds. The asset's de-risked from granted mining leases, clear from a heritage perspective, advanced permitting significantly, and we've completed a feasibility study on the project resources that demonstrates Ravensthorpe will generate high margin ounces. And we think that's a compelling argument to go and look for more of them. We're extremely active. We're well funded. We've completed 46,000 metres of drilling since we listed in 2021. There's another 10,000 metre program underway at the project to grow the resources, to advance the regional exploration pipeline. And all this is being done with a view to establishing that critical mass of metal that will enable us to build a mine at Ravensthorpe. Now, internally, we think that's 800,000 ounces gold equivalent. That would give us a minimum mine life of 8 years at a run rate of 100,000 ounces per annum. So that amount of metal in the reserve is what we internally think is critical mass. And we're very confident that Kunda itself can host that metal. And then the regional exploration opportunity is just upside from there. Just touching on corporate, 230 million shares out. We showed cash of $5 million at the end of September. We've got a loan to our major shareholder. It's only repayable in the case of a change of control event or if we decide to build the project in Ravensthorpe. There's a listed investment in our neighbours Nickel Search, and when this presentation was put together, the company had a market capitalisation of $38 million. If you adjust the cash, the debt, the liquid investments, that backs out an enterprise value of $35 million. And based on the current resource estimate, that results in a $28 per ounce EV valuation, and I'll touch on why we think there's a great deal of upside from there on the next slide. In terms of leadership, the names here on the slide will be well known to people who know the junior resources sector in WA. John has been a long-term prominent member of the Northern Star board, and he's also held non-executive positions on a number of successful juniors in recent times. Ed Ainscoe, currently running London Metals, achieving great things there, and Tony James, similarly, is building something of great significance at Galena. So these guys are at the forefront of the industry, the forefront of capital markets, and that experience provides a tremendous overlay to what is a young, hungry, talented senior executive team. And then there's me really just standing in the middle, directing traffic there. Touching on valuation, this is a peer group of Western Australian gold explorers. What's common about them is that they're all ASX listed and their principal asset is in WA and is gold and is at a pre-production stage. And we're sitting at the wrong end of this curve in our view. We don't like being there. It's extremely frustrating, but we can't complain too much. The market's got its reasons. All we can do is continue to deliver positive results, positive drilling results like we did at the Flag deposit last week into the market, reinforcing confidence and building awareness that we're headed towards that critical mass. And we think that when the market builds confidence and builds awareness that we are on that pathway, then we begin to move to the left-hand side of this curve. And if you leave an increasing resource multiple on top of an increasing underlying resource, then we think Medallion looks compelling from a valuation point of view. So zeroing in now on the company's principal asset, the Ravensthorpe Gold Project, Medallion has the dominant land holding in the Phillips River mineral field, and critical to that are the Annabelle volcanics, the tenements that straddle the Annabelle volcanics. And these are mapped in pink in this slide here. And it's these rocks that have hosted all of the historic production and are host to all of the known resources and the known prospects in the area. There's been approximately 130,000 ounces of gold, 20,000 tonnes of copper produced from this area historically. That's come from 3 clusters of mines at Ravensthorpe in the north, down at Alverton on the southeastern flank of the belt, and then at the Cunditt Mining Centre at the southern end of the field. Interestingly, these rocks are also host to the pegmatites that Allkem are mining at the Mount Catlin project. It's down at the Cunditt Mining Centre. If you think about the historic production that's come from this area, in gross metal value terms, in today's prices, it's roughly a 50-50 split between the gold and the copper in terms of value that's been produced here. So we think copper is going to have an increasingly important role to play in the story at Medallion as it develops over time. And we're certainly seeing that in the drilling at depth at the Cunditt Mining Centre, particularly at the Harbour View deposit. And it's at Cunditt that the bulk of the activities, the bulk of the expenditure, and the bulk of the resource growth is expected to come from in the medium term. Just zeroing in on the Cunditt Mining Centre itself, we think that the project value, and then by direct extension the company's value, is massively leveraged to increases in the resource that lead to increases in the mine plan. So that really means finding economic ounces, and that's what we're focused on here at Medallion. There's currently 1.1 million ounces of gold, 50,000 tonnes of copper metal estimated within the mining lease tenements here, the granted mining leases. 67% of that is in the indicated category, 80% of it is within 150 metres of surface, so still very shallowly drilled for an Archean gold lode system. The average depth of drilling is 100 metres. The deepest hole we've got into the system is 370 metres below surface. The lodes are all open along strike, they're open at depth, and there's been an aggressive program underway since we listed in March of 2021 to demonstrate those lodes are open and continuous over long distances. In June of 2022, this year, we completed our first mineral resource estimate update. It was based on 26,000 metres of that drilling. It led to us getting to the point that we are at the moment. That was achieved at a cost of $11 per ounce on a gold equivalent basis. For every metre that we drilled, we added 23 ounces on a gold equivalent basis into the inventory, and we expect those rates of growth will continue as the drill program unfolds. There's another resource update coming in November of this year, just next month. It's based on another 13,000 metres of drilling that was completed in the first part of this year, and we continue to think that those growth rates will be coming through. Importantly, approximately a third of the drilling that's been undertaken at the project so far has been diamond. This has led to a step change improvement in our understanding on the structural controls of the mineralisation here at Cunditt, and that in combination with downhole geophysics has enabled us to be a lot more predictive about where these lodes repeat and extend at depth. This is a long section through Cunditt looking to the west. Over the 2.5 kilometres of strike length as we currently understand it. This is the mineral resource. It's indicated in blue, inferred is in grey. Now, interestingly, the ounce per vertical metre profile here at Cunditt peaks approximately 7,000, 100 metres below surface. This is where the data density is at its greatest. And we're adding data along strike, we're adding data at depth. And if that ounce per vertical metre profile could be maintained from surface to a depth of 500 metres, then the area starts to get really interesting in terms of its scale and significance. It's a great address. It's got great potential. We think Cunditt's got multi-million ounce potential over the longer period of time. We also mentioned that we're very interested in finding economic ounces So critical to that is understanding what portion of this resource is going to have the potential to convert to reserve in the future. Now, we've commenced open pit and underground optimisations based on the parameters at the top of this slide that are very recently completed work. This information is just filtering through and will report in greater detail in coming weeks, but we're very encouraged by what we're seeing. This is what's dropping out of that analysis. We're seeing 75% of the existing metal in the resource reporting to those diluted shapes in the open pit and the underground analysis. 58% of that metal is in the indicated category. The grades are generally in line with our previously stated reserve estimates when you report them above those cut-off grades. The strip ratios for the pits are averaging 6:1. So very encouraging. This is telling us what the balance of infill and extensional drilling is that we need to do next year, subject to funding being available, in order to get us to that critical mass. So just touching on where we've been, where we are, where we're going to. Medallion's been extremely active since it listed in 2021. We've done a great deal of drilling, and what that's done is give the business momentum. So there's been resource updates. We've got another resource update coming next month, and then that resource update will be the basis for us to start a pre-feasibility study at the Cunda Mining Centre. We'll start that work before the end of the year, complete it in the first half of 2023, and that'll tell us a number of things. It will tell us the size of the prize in Cunda. It'll provide us with parameters with which to go and re-engage with regulators. And finally, it'll tell us exactly where the drilling needs to be done to get us to that critical mass, and what proportion is growth and what proportional is de-risking of the asset. So next year, really all about optimising the preferred development pathway. So to wrap this up, we think Medallion is a compelling opportunity for investors who are looking for exposure to advanced gold and copper exploration in Western Australia. What you get with Medallion is dollars in the ground. You'll get resource growth. We own assets in a tremendous jurisdiction. We've got great potential. The resource is growing every day as we continue to unfold the drilling program. The regional exploration opportunity, it's real and it's extensive. And while it might not get tested in the short term, it's not going anywhere, and it represents tremendous upside. So if you haven't done so already, I'd encourage you to take a closer look at Medallion. Contact us through the website, set up a meeting. We're always keen to talk about where the business is headed and what's going on down at Ravensthorpe. Thank you.